for the feast of the birthday of the Blessed Virgin Mary, which naturally is not in the Gospels because they would be too big to carry around in any form, papyrus, scroll, book, or whatever, if we have all the information going back before Jesus comes to the earth, or at least begins his public ministry. So I'll rely on Maria Valtorta as ever, or rather rely on Jesus to have given us the great gift of the information about Mary and himself, even in his public ministry, which we cannot find in the New Testament, nor in ancient tradition. But our Lord has deigned in the 20th century to choose a soul, Maria Valtorta, to provide this abundance of detail from the 1st century AD, and of course from before that, because despite this silly effort to refer to the dividing line between the birth of Christ and prior to the birth of Christ and after the birth of Christ as BCE and so on, before the Common Era and CE, the Common Era, it's foolish because it's all about the birth date of Christ. So we'll call it BC and AD. And we should continue to do so if we're Christians and not foolish anti-Christians as those who've devised these new terms are. I shall read chapter 4 from the first volume of the Poem of the Man God, also known as The Gospel as Revealed to Me. Chapter 4, entitled With a Canticle, Anne announces that she is a mother, given on the 24th of August 1944 to Maria Valtorta. I see Joachim and Anne's house once again. Nothing is changed inside, with the exception that there are many branches full of flowers, placed in amphoras here and there, certainly the fruit of the pruning of the trees in the orchard, all in bloom. A cloud varying from snow white to the red of certain corals. Also, Anne's work is different. On the smaller of two looms, she is weaving some lovely linen cloth and is singing, moving her feet to the rhythm of the song. She is singing and smiling. At whom? At herself. At something she is aware of in her inside. I have written separately the slow and yet gay song, so that I might follow it, for she repeats it several times, as if she rejoices in it. She sings it more and more loudly and with certainty, like someone who found a melody in her heart, and at first whispers it softly, and then, being sure, proceeds faster and in a higher tone. The slow and yet gay song, which I'm transcribing because it is so sweet in its simplicity, says, Glory to the Almighty Lord, who had love for the children of David. Glory to the Lord. His supreme grace has visited me from heaven. The old tree has borne a new branch, and I am blessed. At the Feast of Lights, hope scattered the seed. Now the fragrance of Nisan sees it germinating. Like an almond tree, my flesh is adorned with flowers in spring. In the evening she perceives she is bearing her fruit. On that branch there is a rose, there is a most sweet apple, there is a bright star, an innocent little child. There is the joy of the house, of the husband and wife. Praise be to God, to my Lord who had mercy on me. His light said to me, a star will come to you. Glory, glory, yours shall be the fruit of this tree. The first and last, holy and pure, as a gift of the Lord. Yours it shall be, and may joy and peace come upon the earth. Fly, shuttle, fasten the yarn for the infant's cloth. The infant is about to be born. May the song of my heart rise to God, singing hosannas. I just interrupt just to say that somebody, somewhere, with the artistic gift of music, should be putting this to song. Unfortunately, Maria Valtorta did not have a tape recorder put in front of her at any stage as far as I'm aware, which is a great shame actually. Had she done so, she might have been able to give her rendition of this, even whether she's in tune or not. We could have had an idea of how it sounded. So somebody with imagination could perhaps do that. I think it needs it. To continue then. Joachim comes in when she is about to repeat her song for the 4th time. Are you happy, Anne? You look like a bird in spring. What song is that? I've never heard anyone sing it. Where does it come from? From my heart, Joachim. Anne has got up and is now moving towards her husband, smiling happily. She looks younger and lovelier than ever. I did not know that you were a poet, declares her husband, looking at her with obvious admiration. They do not look like an elderly couple. In their glances, there is the fondness of young couples. I came from the other end of the orchard when I heard you singing. For years I had not heard your voice, that of a turtle dove in love. Do you mind repeating that song for me? I would repeat it, says Anne, even if you did not ask me. The children of Israel have always entrusted to songs the sincere cries of their hopes, joys and pains. I have entrusted to a song the task of telling myself and you a great joy. Yes, also of telling myself, because it is such a great thing that although I'm sure of it now, it does not yet seem to me to be true. And she begins the song over again. But when she comes to the point, on that branch there is a rose, there is a most sweet apple, a star. Her well-tuned contralto voice at first trembles, then it breaks, and with a sob of joy she looks at Joachim, and raising her arms she cries, I am a mother, my darling. And she takes refuge on his heart, between the arms that he's held out, and has now clasped around his happy wife. This is the most chaste and happy embrace that I've ever seen in my life, chaste and ardent in its chastity. And the sweet reproach is whispered over Anne's grey hair. And you were not telling me? Because I wanted to be sure, she says. Old as I am, to know that I'm a mother. I could not believe it was true. I did not want to give you the most bitter disappointment of all. Since the end of December, I've perceived that my womb was becoming new and bearing, as I say, a new branch. But now, on that branch, the fruit is certain. See, that linen is for the one that is coming. Is it not the linen that you brought in Jerusalem in October? Yes, it is. I spun it while I was waiting and hoping. I was hoping because the last day while I was praying in the temple, as close as possible for a woman to be to the house of God, and it was already evening, remember that I was saying, a little longer, a little more. I could not withdraw from the place without receiving the grace. Well, in the growing darkness, from inside the sacred place where I was watching from the depth of my soul to obtain a scent from the ever-present God, I saw a light, a spark of beautiful light depart. It was as white as the moon, and yet it had in itself all the brightness of all the pearls and gems that are in the world. It seemed that one of the precious stars of the veil, the stars placed under the feet of the cherubim, had become detached and bright with a supernatural light. It seemed that beyond the sacred veil, from the glory itself, a fire started, which came quickly towards me, and while cutting through the air, it sang with a heavenly voice, chanting, "May what you asked for come to you." That is why I sing, "A star will come to you." What child will ours ever be, since it reveals itself as the light of a star in the temple, and in the Feast of Lights says, I am. Did you perhaps foresee rightly when you thought I would be a new Anne of Elkanah? How shall we name our creature, whom I perceive talking to me in my womb as sweetly as the melody of waters, with its little heart beating repeatedly like the heart of a pretty turtle dove held in one's hands? If it's a boy, we shall call him Samuel. If a girl, Star. The word that stopped your song to give me the joy of learning that I'm a father. The form it took to reveal itself in the holy shade of the temple. Star, says Anne. Our star. Because, I don't know why, but I think it's a girl. I think that such sweet caresses can only come from a most sweet daughter. Because I do not bear her, I have no pain. It is she who takes me on a blue, flowery path, as if I were supported by holy angels, and the earth was already far away. I have always heard women say that it is painful to conceive and to bear. But I have no pain. I feel strong, young, fresher than when I presented you with my virginity in my faraway youth. Daughter of God, because this creature born of a barren stump is more of God than ours. She gives no pain to her mother. She only brings her peace and blessings, the fruits of God, her true Father. Mary then we shall call her, says Joachim. Star of our sea, pearl, happiness, the name of the first great woman in Israel. But she will never sin against the Lord, and to him only she will give her songs, because she is offered to him, a victim before being born. Yes, says Anne, she is offered to him, male or female as it may be. After rejoicing for 3 years over our creature, we shall give it to the Lord, victims ourselves with her, for the glory of God. And Maria Valtorta concludes, I do not see or hear anything else.